Hey English 1102 friends, this is a video taking you through the longer poem, longer than our normal poem. This poem is Letters from a Father by Mona Van Dine. This is under the family and community poem. This poem's got these 6 big stanzas to it. So I'm doing a video just about it in case it takes a little bit longer, hopefully not too long. This poem is from the early 1980s, before most of you guys were born, and you can feel that, this poem, each of the stanzas is organized as like a letter from a father to a daughter being written, and it gives you, and it sort of traces the progress of the father, and really the father and the mother who are elderly, as they sort of go from having a negative outlook and a negative attitude towards towards having a positive outcome, because of this bird feeder and bird seed that the daughter gives them when she visits. Mona Van Dine, you can see her right here. She passed away in 2004, about the time some of y'all were born probably. And so, like I said, this poem is a little bit older, but in many ways it's really interesting, and there is a timelessness to it, because it is about how, as parents get older, the child sort of trades places. Your parents took care of you when you were younger, and then there's usually a period when everybody's an adult, and then as the parents get older, you sort of take on some caretaking and helping roles for them as they get elderly. And that's really what's happening in this poem, is the daughter is sort of subtly and gently trying to nudge them into being more positive, having a more positive outlook, and having something to do with their time now that they're retired and around the house all the time. And you can see when you dive into the poem how negative the dad is in the first stanza of the poem, the first letter of the poem. It's just all complaints. The dad's complaining and complaining and complaining. Ulcerated tooth keeps me awake. Such pain. Would have to go to the hospital to have it pulled. But I can't leave mother. She falls and forgets her salve and her tranquilizers. Her ankles swell so. There are big holes in my thigh where my leg brace buckles. My head pounds from high blood pressure. It's awful not to be able to get out. So the dad is like, I've got all these problems, and your mom's got all these problems, and it's awful. Things are so bad we can't even go anywhere. And I fell in the bathroom. I sure thought my back was broken. My prostate is bad. And this is one of the things about the elderly people. Often when you interact with elderly people, they're not shy about telling you about the problems they're having. The filter is sort of off, and they'll just say, man, my back is killing me today, or I'm stopped up, or something like that. Have made my peace, and you can see how bad the dad's outlook is. Have made my peace because I'm just plain done for, and have no doubt that the Lord will come any day with my release. So the dad is like, things are so bad, any day I'm just going to fall over dead. And then right here in the last 4 lines, you say you enjoy your feeder. I don't see why you want to spend good money on grain for birds. You say I have 100 sparrows. I'd buy poison and get rid of their diseases and turds. And so the daughter is talking about how she has a bird feeder and it makes her happy. And the dad is like, I don't know why you'd want that. That's just a waste of time and money. And the birds are off. Like, who'd want all those birds around your house? So the dad is just negative about everything. He's negative about his outlook on life. Nothing's going to satisfy him or make him happy or make things better. Then you jump to the second letter. We enjoyed your visit. So the daughter has come to visit her parents. It was nice of you to bring the feeder, but a terrible waste of money for that big bag of feed, since we won't be living more than a few weeks long. You can see right there, the daughter has come to visit them. She brought a bird feeder and some bird feed. And the dad still has this negative outlook, like, things are so bad, we're so close to dying that we won't be able to live through using up the bag of bird seed. It's just a bad, again, still super negative. We can see them good from where we sit, big ones and little ones. But when I farmed, I used to like to hunt. But these birds won't be good for nothing and are dirty to have so near the house. So again, the dad's going to put up the bird feeder, going to fill it up with feed, but he's still negative. He's like, there's no point to this. This is a waste of time and money. Mother likes the redbirds, though. Again, a little bit of positivity creeping in, a little bit of positive tone, and then back to complaining. My bad knee is sore and I can't hardly hear. Mother says she's hoarse from yelling. I belch up all the time. Has a scab she thinks is going to turn to a wart. Just again, this sort of gross complaining about bodily things, and we're back to it's almost like the dad was positive for a little bit about the daughter visiting, but then he remembered, he's like, back to all the complaining. Things are so bad. Then you get to the third letter, which is the shortest letter of the whole thing. And I would argue it's the shortest because there's not really any complaining in it. It's almost like the dad forgets he's supposed to be so negative, forgets he's supposed to be doing all this complaining, and instead what he's talking about is the birds are eating and fighting. Ha ha. All shapes and colors and sizes coming out of our woods. We don't know what they are. Your mother hopes you can send us a kind of book that tells about birds. So not only is he now interested in the bird feeder and interested in the bird feed, but he wants a book so they can know what kind of birds they're getting. There's one the folks call snowbirds. They eat on the ground. I sent we had the girl sprinkle extra there, the girl being like their home health nurse or something like that, somebody who comes and assists them. They eat something awful. I sent the girl to town to buy some more feed. She had to go anyway. This is the first sort of first sort of sign, signal of how much this is affecting their lives. This dad who was so negative, had such a negative outlook that he thought, well, we'll be dead before we can use up all the bird seed in this bag that you brought us. Well, they used it all up, and they've gone to get some more because they like having the birds around. Things, you can feel the sort of turn happening. Like I said, even though this is the shortest stanza, there's no complaining, and instead what you are feeling is this turn in attitude, turn in outlook. Almost called you on the telephone, but it costs so much to call. Again, here's one of those moments where you feel that this poem is, when this poem was written in the early 80s, because it used to cost to call people long distance on a landline telephone, which is why the dad's writing these letters anyway. The funniest thing is happening. One day we had so many birds and they fight and get excited at their feed, and it's really something to watch. 2 or 3 flew right at us. They come to after a while on the ground. We felt awful and didn't know what to do. The birds are flying into their window now because they can't see through, they can't see glass. A lady from our church drove out to call, and a little bird knocked itself out while she sat. She brought it in her hands right into the house. You also get this, if you remember, the parents were saying they couldn't get out. They weren't healthy enough to get out. Well, now people are coming to visit them. People are coming to them, and it's involving them in the community again because people are coming to visit them to see the birds. The dad describes the bird. It had kind of a hat of feathers sticking up on its head. I petted it and it came to life. Again, this dad who was like, these birds are so gross and carry disease. Well, now he's got a bird in his head and petting it until it wakes back up. She says to hang strips of aluminum foil in the windows so that the birds don't crash into the windows. She raved about our birds. P.S. The book just came in the mail. And so the daughter has met, the dad asked for a book. The daughter sent them a book, so now they can identify what kind of birds are. Again, you can feel the dad's sort of turn in attitude here. There's no complaining. And not only is there no complaining, there's all this excitement and happiness about these birds and touching the birds. And like I said, people from town are coming to visit so that it's not just a mom and dad lonely at their house anymore. And then you jump to the 5th letter. Say that book is sure good. I study in it every day and enjoy our birds. Enjoy our birds. So not only is there no complaining, the dad is just enjoying the birds and enjoying learning their names. Some of them I can't identify. I guess they're females. The Latin words I just skip over. Bet you'd never guessed a sparrow I've got here. House sparrow, fox sparrow, song sparrow, vesper sparrow. Well, you can tell the dad's been reading the book here because it's just like a list. It's like a grocery list of all these different kinds of birds. I have 6 cardinals, 3 pair. They come early morning. Juncos, maybe 25. They fight for the ground. I miss the bluebirds since the weather warmed. And I have flicker and red-bellied and red-headed woodpeckers. You would die laughing to see red-belly. And ruby-crowned kinglet and nuthatch stands on his head. And hermit thrush, blue jay so funny. We bought some sunflower seeds just for him. And you can feel the dad taking all this enjoyment and enthusiasm and excitement from reading about these birds. And the squirrels, they're cute too, and they sit tall. And then the last line, I pulled my own tooth that didn't bleed at all. And so this problem that the dad complained about near the beginning of the poem, he's like, oh, I solved it, no big deal, didn't even have to go to the doctor, took care of it. So you're getting all of this. Not only is their outlook and attitude changing, their whole quality of life is changing. They're enjoying the birds, things that seem like these big problems, they're like, no, we got this under control. Then you get to the last letter. It's sure a surprise how well Mother is doing. She forgets her laxative, but bowels move fine. Now, the girl took a book of knowledge on loan from the library, and I'm reading up on the habits of birds. So the first book that the dad got from the daughter, even that wasn't enough because he's so excited about the birds and wanting to learn about the birds. I'm going to keep feeding all spring, maybe summer. You can see they expect it. So here you have the total turnaround, the complete 180. this dad who was like, we're going to die any day. Things are so bad. We're so sick and unhealthy. Well, now he's like, we got to keep feeding these birds all spring and summer. You can see they expect it. You know, they've got something to live for. They're taking enjoyment out of life, and they want to keep going now. It's not this like dim, dark outlook. We'll need thistle seed for goldfinch and pine siskin next winter. So he's got all these big bird plans, you know, it's just this big part of his life. Some folks are going to come see us from church, some bird watchers pretty soon. They have birds in town, but nothing to equal this. Again, they're integrating back into the community. Since they can't get out, people are going to come see them, come see the birds. So it's connecting them back to the world and giving them enjoyment out of life. And then you get this last line of the poem, so the world woos its children back for an evening kiss. And what this last line does is sort of play with that metaphor that all of life is one long day, and when you're elderly, it's sort of the evening of the day. It's like the sun is setting for you. But you get to be happy again about the small things in life, like birds playing outside your window. You know, the people that are happy about birds and pay attention to birds and what they're doing are often little kids and then elderly people. Because you're not working and rushing around and trying to do all the things you have to do when you're an adult. You just got time to enjoy these small little things like nature and birds and stuff like that. So that last line is like, you get to be happy about these little things again when you're elderly, like birds and feeding birds and watching birds and stuff like that. So what you get in Letters from a Father is this complete 180 where the daughter helps the parents change their outlook and their perspective on life, and they go from just this negativity and like, oh, we're going to die any day, to they're so happy and we're just going to keep going and feeding these birds, and things are wonderful and people are going to come visit us. And things are there's this much more positive, happy outlook on life. So I hope that helps you understand this poem. Like I said, it's a little bit longer than most of the stuff we're reading in this class. I hope it's helpful and useful to you. If you have any questions about Mona Van Dyne or Letters from a Father, be in touch with me. Otherwise, thanks everybody for your time.